The Boston Celtics didn't look like they were going to win this one, but Al Horford took over in the fourth quarter. How did he do it? The thing that ignited his explosion, and now why I think this series is over. We're going to talk about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you for making this show part of your daily routine. Your first listen every day, Monday through Friday, and bonus podcast whenever there's a game on a night where we might not normally record. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. You can watch the show on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you see that I'm sitting here at the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the very floor where the Boston Celtics beat the Milwaukee Bucks 116-108. And let me tell you something. It didn't feel like they were going to win this game for a very long time. They whipped off a 43-28 fourth quarter. Who saw the Celtics scoring 43 points in the fourth quarter? No one saw that coming. So just a monster comeback fueled by Al Horford. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a book called The Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars, and I was one of the media voters for the 75th anniversary team. Later on, I'll tell you why I think this series is over. And it goes right along with my prediction that a lot of Bucks fans, I wonder how many Bucks fans are going to be in the YouTube comments this time around. Because after the wins, boy, they're really feeling themselves. After the losses, not so much. And I'm feeling really, really confident about my prediction of Celtics in 6. I'm going to tell you why later on. In the second segment, the Celtics attacking Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, getting some of those individual things. But first, we got to start. Gotta start with Al Horford, who had 30 points in this game, who had 16 points in the fourth quarter, was perfect in the fourth quarter. This dude shot almost 80% and is 35 years old, a month away from turning 36. Everybody talks about how, we don't know how much longer he has and blah, blah, blah. And this dude just dropped a career playoff high 30 points in this game to really carry the Celtics past the Milwaukee Bucks. If you didn't see it, and I'm sure you did, because everybody's just sitting here hoping to celebrate this win, which is what we're doing. We're celebrating a Game 4 win. The Celtics didn't look like they deserved to win this game. Through 3 quarters, it was up and down. First quarter, they looked bad. I mean, honestly, the way as bad as they looked in that first quarter, I thought, are these guys quitting? Honestly, I swear, like I thought in the first quarter, I really didn't know what to make of the Celtics performance. And I knew that it was a long game, and it's a 48-minute game, and first quarter can look one way and the fourth quarter can look a different way. And you really got 180 degrees between these two teams from the beginning to the end. The way they were kind of passive. They were giving up offensive rebounds. They were turning the ball over. It just didn't look like they had it in them to win this game, to be competitive in this game. And Milwaukee went up 10 early, and it felt like they were just going to kind of keep on marching. But the Celtics, to their credit, even after a 25-18 first quarter, kept it going in the second quarter. Now, Al Horford was a big part of all of that. Got to give credit to Derek White. Jaylen Brown was in foul trouble really from the beginning and never quite got it going. He had moments, he had stretches where he was actually really good. Like it was very obvious, like for a while, he was actually going to be the Celtics' best player. I thought the the more foul trouble he got into, and there was a crucial challenge. I thought this was going to be a game-changing challenge. Offensive foul. It was originally a defensive foul on Drew Holiday when Jaylen Brown was driving to the right. I thought Holiday had hopped. I thought he was in the air. He was hopping left. I thought he was in the air. But it's important to note that in the NBA, you don't have to be like fully set and stationary. You just have to claim that space. And if the other player hits you square in the chest, it can be an offensive foul. So that's what they determined. Fine. That was pivotal because instead of 4 fouls on Holiday, it was a 5th foul on Jaylen. He had to sit down. And I remember Grant Williams on the sideline kind of talking him up. And I thought this is where it unravels. Third quarter, Celtics down 10, a minute and a half to go. So this is critical. That moment was where things got really, it was going to go one way or the other, right? And the Celtics, to their credit, just kept hanging in. And Al Horford in that fourth quarter. Now, early in the third quarter, I got to rewind. I got to rewind to the beginning of the third quarter. Giannis steals the ball. And now as I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the part of the court here. Right behind me is where Al Horford walked. Giannis Antetokounmpo gets a technical foul right here for dunking on Al Horford. Horford walks past them after Tony Brothers calls a technical foul early in the third quarter. And Al's like, okay. And he said after the game, that switched something in me. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Horford drives right. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, it happened behind this way. Horford drives right at that basket. Dunks on Giannis. His off arm smashes down on Giannis. Looked like it might have been unintentional, but I don't know. I'm not sure that Al, who knows what Al was doing there. Al gets the dunk, gets a technical foul of his own for that offhand thing. Ties the game at 81 after the free throws. And the whole demeanor changes on the Celtics. Now, Horford scores 16 points in the fourth quarter. That play changes everything. All of a sudden, the Celtics are on fire. They feel good. Milwaukee starting to fade. That's a key reason in what's going to be my last segment. Milwaukee starts to fade. Boston's feeling that energy. Horford's dunk raises the energy and changes everything about that fourth quarter. Next thing you know, he's hitting 3-pointers. They go back and forth after that dunk. When I was writing on Boston Sports Journal, I said there were two turning points. The dunk was one turning point because it resets the game. No more double digit. The Celtics were down by as many as 11. The dunk resets the game. It's 81-81. Now you're going back and forth. Horford drilling threes. Afterwards, Ime Udoka says, we can get him that 3-pointer anytime we want. Now, other guys on the team have been struggling. Horford is just drilling threes here in Milwaukee. He might never want to leave Milwaukee because he can, for some reason, he loves the rims over here, man. He can hit the threes like crazy. And then he hands things over to Jayson Tatum and Marcus Smart. So, again, key element in my third segment coming up. Giannis needs a blow at 5 minutes. He needs to sit down. He needs to get some rest. George Hill comes in, and Tatum feasts on George Hill. 8 straight points. Meanwhile, Marcus Smart backing down Holiday in the middle of the lane. And the Celtics put this thing away, go up 10. They go from down 10 with 93 seconds to go in the third quarter to up 10. Not even a full quarter later. Big swing. And it's all Al Horford. Horford with the defense on Giannis throughout the game. Horford with just the amazing offensive play. Horford, everybody after the game just singing his praises. Can't say a bad thing about Al Horford. That's what Jayson Tatum says. Marcus Smart says big, 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 big what Horford did. Just couldn't emphasize it enough what Horford did and what he means to this team. Every time we talk about Horford, we got to say, a year ago, we didn't even know. We didn't know what he was going to be. All of a sudden, you get Kemba Walker for Al Horford. And this performance out here, I mean, name a more impactful season move. Al Horford came in and won you a playoff game in the semifinals against Giannis and the Bucks. That's an amazing move. Meanwhile, Kemba, I love Kemba, but benched and sent home basically from the Knicks. What a turnaround. What a turnaround. Amazing performance from Al Horford. Going to talk more about the other individual performances, some of the other stuff that went on in the game when I come back. First, let's talk about PrizePicks. Boy, you could have had some fun with PrizePicks, which is daily fantasy made easy. People come up to me at the Garden and have said, I started PrizePicks and now I'm addicted to it. They really just have a lot of fun. You can get the award-winning app wherever you get your apps, the Google Play, the App Store. Basically, you pick 2 to 5 players as an over-under in their projections. You can win up to 10 times on any entry. And the best part is it's you against the projected numbers. It's not you against some dude with, high-powered computers and algorithms and all that other stuff. You make your picks. They take like 60 seconds to make your picks. It's safe. It offers fast withdrawals. You can, any kind of prop you can think of. Points scored, Al Horford 3-pointers. Pick the over on that, I'm sure, because no one would have picked, he would have hit 5. And you can cross sports. You could go to Celtics and Red Sox and mix the sports and pick over-unders that way. So whatever it is, MMA, everything else that you can think of. For a limited time, PrizePicks has an exclusive no-brainer of an offer for all of our users. You get $50 free if a player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point, but you got to use the code NBA. It's an exclusive offer for Locked On fans. Sign up today and use the code NBA for $50 free money. If a player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point, remember to download that app wherever you get your apps. It's available at on Google Play or the App Store, or go to PrizePicks.com. Daily fantasy made easy. You want nutrition made easy? That's Athletic Greens AG1, which I have been using. It's great, especially for somebody like me who is on the road. It is very difficult on the road to get the nutrition that I need. That's why 1 scoop of Athletic Greens AG1 is going to get me started. It's the supplement that tastes great. It's going to get me better gut health, more energy, an optimized immune system. And it's really, really good. I know it's a green drink, but it doesn't taste like a green drink. It's kind of, it tastes pretty good. 1 scoop, you get 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotic and adaptogens to help you start your day right. You want to really get whatever kind of nutrients into your body fast. Your body will actually absorb them, not like some of these other things that maybe you've tried. It's very tough, and it costs less than $3 a day. So it's basically cheaper than your cold brew habit. Lifestyle friendly. So if you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, no GMOs, 1 gram, less than 1 gram of sugar, no chemicals, no artificial anything. So it really fits your lifestyle, and it's better than a multivitamin. And like I said, $3 a day. How can you go wrong with that? Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews recommended by professional athletes. So trusted by health experts. The testimonials are all over the place. The ratings are great. I like it. So reclaim your health, arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That is it. No need for a million different pills to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NBA network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NBA network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Why not make Locked On NBA your second listen every day? Locked On NBA has rotating hosts, including me, Wednesdays with Jake Madison of Locked On Pelicans. So get Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts. It's also on YouTube. All right, let's look at some of the other performances, because it wasn't just Al Horford, although we can keep talking about Al Horford if you want. But I thought the Celtics did a great job of attacking and getting to the paint. For the first time, the Celtics had 48 points in the paint. It's more than the first two games combined. That is, I think the Celtics really just said, you know what? We're gonna make this concerted effort. We're gonna do this. I thought they attacked. They had the better screens, like Ime was talking about. They did a good job attacking when Brook Lopez was out of the game, which was important. And even without Rob, by the way, I should mention Rob. Soreness in the left knee. They said it's not a surprise that he had soreness in that left knee. He has had some expected soreness in that left knee, but nothing that rose to the occasion of him missing time. And then today, Monday, he had a more soreness that actually didn't feel good, and that he sat out. So the expectation is that one day off, maybe he gets back to Boston, he feels better, and he plays in game 5. I was talking to a few of the people around here. I didn't think it was going to be as big a deal as it seemed, because he just hasn't been great in this series. And I didn't think that they really, like, if he had been great in this series and catching alley-oops and really just making the impact that I thought he would, I admit I was wrong about Robert Williams. If he had been doing that, then I would have said, oh boy, the Celtics are screwed. But he hasn't been. He hasn't been doing that. And they had been better with Grant Williams. And on top of that, this is so wild that, look, Jaylen Brown in foul trouble all game. Grant Williams was bad in this game. He was not good. Fourth quarter, Grant Williams gets into the game, plays 19 seconds, gives up a Grayson Allen 3 because he's biting on these up fakes and flying past the shooters. Grayson Allen hits a 3. Ime calls a timeout. They just came out of a timeout. Milwaukee plays one play, and Ime calls another timeout, probably because he had the use it or lose it timeout. They had 3, and it was about 3 minutes to go, so they had the one extra one to use. He calls a timeout. Grant's bench. He played 19 seconds in the fourth quarter. Not an impact. So no Rob. Then Grant was not great, and they just went small, and Milwaukee still gave up that huge fourth quarter. That doesn't bode well for them. Again, that's the third quarter. I keep teasing the third segment. But I thought the Celtics just did a great job, and especially in that fourth quarter, attacking. Marcus Smart over and over and over again in the paint. Tatum attacking over and over and over again. And he was hitting some tough layups. He was hitting some layups there that he had not been hitting in this series. I think that added energy, the Al Horford bump, the momentum, the adrenaline of, here we go. We're, building that lead. All of a sudden it's a tie game. Nope. All of a sudden the Celtics have a lead. And when you have that lead, that momentum builds, and you feel that extra kick. Al Horford after the game said, you got that adrenaline. I feel great. He might not feel so great tomorrow, but tonight he feels great. So the Celtics attacking was a huge part of this. Celtics, 11 turnovers. They did give up 17 points off those turnovers, but 11 turnovers is reasonable and okay. Now, the 17 points off those turnovers is not. You still have to be better about getting back in transition. But what they didn't get is the 30 points in transition. So that was helpful in that regard. They got Giannis. They held him to 5 assists. I think 5 assists is the magic number. 34 points, 5 assists, doable. I think the magic number is 50. And I'm going to just quickly click on, and I don't know if you're going to hear this sound, but there it was. So he gave up, let's see, 3-pointer, 1, 2, 3 3-pointers. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. No, actually 4 3-pointers. So 12. And so it's 14 points plus the 34 that he scored. That's 48. right below my magic number of 50. And I didn't even know that when I started out that math. I did do that math right, didn't I? Yes. Yes, I did. If you give up Giannis generating points over 50 points, then the Milwaukee Bucks can figure out a way to score, I think, 50 points or more. But you know, and even in this one, look, he generated just under 50, so it was 48, and they generated 60. So if they had allowed him to generate more with more assists, then obviously they would have, I think, lost this game. That is one of the keys here. You limit your turnovers, and this is what I was talking about in the podcast yesterday with Andrew Lopez. So they did do a good job of that. Like I said, Grant Williams was bad. Jayson Tatum had he was struggling, but good job. This was the type of thing that you wanted him to do in game 3. A little bit of a struggle throughout the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, take over, 12 points in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown wasn't bad. He only played 32 minutes because he was constantly in foul trouble, could never get a rhythm. 18 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, a steal. But for a while there, I thought he was going to be the key down the stretch in the fourth quarter. But and they did a good job helping him, I think, defensively. Like there were times defensively where he just left on an island again, but they did do a better job helping him out. Marcus Smart, 18 points and 8 assists for Smart. Great job by him. Nice bounce back from Marcus Smart. He was not good in game 3. Derek White, the Celtics decided to go small when they didn't have Grant. They didn't have Rob. They go small, and Derek White comes in for 34 minutes, shoots 4 of 6, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a block. A really very necessary game for Derek White, who, got to give him credit. After the first couple of games, everybody's like, what's up with this guy? And he comes out in game 4 and is low-key somebody that really you don't win the game without Derek White playing the way he did. I'll talk much more about that in tomorrow's podcast. First, let me tell you about BetOnline, the number one source for all your betting needs. Go to BetOnline. The Bucks came into this game favored by 1, so if you'd taken the Celtics, you won a little bit of cash. You can find the latest odds, news, and news about the playoffs, the Major League Baseball, the fights, the Formula One, all that stuff. People really love Formula One. So check it out there at BetOnline. They also have live betting, in-game betting. You could have bet on Al Horford's second half or Al Horford's fourth quarter. You can bet on esports. It's all there. Head on over to the website. Use your mobile device. Learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Please gamble responsibly. All right, here's a take that is really going to make the Bucks fans want to kill me. I think this series is over. I think this series is going to go how I thought it was going to go. You remember I said before the series start, split in Boston, split in Milwaukee. Now, I thought it was going to go a little differently. I thought the Celtics were going to win 1-3. They ended up winning 2-4. But split in Boston, split in Milwaukee. So it's 2-2, and it could go either way. If the Bucks win, I wouldn't be surprised necessarily. I don't think they're going to, because I think they're toast. I don't think they've got the legs. I said Celtics in 6. I think the Celtics are going to win game 5. I think the Celtics are going to come here and win game 6. And why tonight's game was important, and why I think tonight's game tells me that this series is over, is how the game finished in the fourth quarter. The Bucks, again, 10-point lead with 93 seconds to go in the third quarter, and they blow it. They've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek god, the Greek freak, who is just insane. When you go out, when you watch what he does on this floor, it's mind-blowing how good he is. The problem is he is doing so much. He is not only creating all of his own offense, he has to defend. And not only is he defending, the Celtics are purposely putting him inactions to make sure that he's not getting defensive possessions off. And then when he's out here scoring, he has to go through 2, 3, 4 guys. Even when he gives the ball up, even when he gets fouled, he's getting hit. The Celtics are willing to foul. They don't mind putting Giannis on the free throw line. They just keep harassing him, hitting him, pushing him, making him work. And by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, he is gassed. He doesn't have it anymore. We saw him again on one of Tatum's drives in the fourth quarter. He's out there on the right side, and I'm pointing to, like, on the YouTube page, I'm pointing to the spot. Like, he's right in this area right there on the right side of the floor, right? It's the right kind of free throw line extended for the people who don't see it. Tatum drives right. And normally I'd say you don't drive into where Giannis can help, but Giannis has his hands on his knees. And as Tatum comes by, Giannis kind of gives it a kind of wave, like, and does nothing. And Tatum finishes the drive because there's no help there. Giannis is gassed. He has nothing left. He's saving himself. Now, in the fourth quarter down the stretch, Giannis has to start taking possessions off defensively so he can do what he needs to do on the other end of the floor, because the Bucks cannot score without Giannis. There were a couple of buckets. There were huge buckets. Connaughton hit a three-pointer without, like, Giannis was just walking down. He just didn't have it, and the Bucks were able to get a bucket out of it. But it's hard for them to score without Giannis doing what he does. So number one is that because of no Chris Middleton, Giannis has to do so much himself. And again, this entire season, he's played one game, 40 minutes or more coming into this series. And now he has to play all these 40-minute games. And with this workload, I don't believe he's got enough to finish these games. I just don't believe it. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, Jrue Holiday, same idea. Holiday has to create a lot of offense. They need Holiday to be a scorer. They need him to set people up. They need him to pick up the slack for Chris Middleton. Now, he is a tremendous defender, but as Andrew Lopez said on last night's podcast, there are times where he has to be selective defensively so he can have the legs to finish these games. Marcus Smart backing Holiday down in the middle of the lane. Holiday doesn't have the legs to stand up to Marcus Smart there. Holiday's a strong dude. Marcus Smart's a strong dude. They should be like two rams butting heads. They should slam into each other and neither guy should move. But Smart is backing Holiday down and finishing at the rim, shooting right over the top, because Holiday doesn't have any legs either. Bobby Portis, unplayable late in the game because he doesn't have the legs to keep up. The Bucks just don't have the gas in the tank. So I expect the Celtics to come out in game 5 and win at home, play, get that energy from the crowd, play better. I expect a game 2 type performance out of them. And then I expect them to come here in game 6 here at the Fiserv Forum and have a slugfest and get down 10, 12, maybe 15 in that game and have to hang around. Same idea. Just grind it out. It'll be ugly. It'll be gross. It'll be foul filled. But I expect the Celtics to slowly get back into the game. They'll go down in the first quarter. They'll make it up in the second quarter. There'll be a little burst in the third quarter following the same pattern because the Bucks will have gotten some rest. And then in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, it'll start to fade. And in the fourth quarter, the Celtics, who are used to that kind of grind, will start to pull away. And they'll win game 6 here on this floor to go to the Eastern Conference Finals because the Bucks don't have enough gas in the tank. They just don't. Brook Lopez was out for too long during the regular season. He could never get extended the way he needed to get extended. They could never stretch him out. They could never stretch out his minutes. Without Chris Middleton, he does so much creating for Milwaukee, just too much for Giannis to do for a guy who's not used to playing this many minutes. So on top of him playing more minutes than usual, the workload is just so much bigger. It's not the Milwaukee Bucks are the Milwaukee Bucks are a really good team. If they do win the series, I expect Milwaukee to cruise through the Eastern Conference Finals and get to the NBA Finals again. Whoever wins the series, I think, is getting to the NBA Finals. And I'm not ruling out that Milwaukee can win this. I could be wrong for sure. But how I see it, how I've seen these games end, Boston had a chance to come back in game 3. They just didn't get it because Tatum just didn't have enough. He had enough in game 4. They figured it out. I think things are going to be different in Boston. So I think my opinion, yeah, winning this game meant winning the series for the Boston Celtics. We'll talk about it more coming up. I'll have the Wednesday podcast pregame for you, and then game 5, post game 5. I hopefully will be doing that from TD Garden. If not, I'll just have to do it from my home studio. Wherever it is, I will be doing a podcast for you. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe on YouTube. Watch the show on YouTube. We'd love to have you do that. And if you are a subscriber, spread the word. Tell your friends. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.